Listen, think, speak.
Think.
Yeah.
There's not even a response.
Correct. And what we want to do, we want to respond right away, and we're thinking about what to say. We're thinking about, no, think about what the person's actually saying, listen actively, and then think about what you want to say.
On the show today, we have Scott Waner, career educator, I believe over 25 years in education. And then we've had two of Scott's daughters on the podcast, Taylor and Maddie, which was some awesome conversations and great perspectives. But excited to have Scott on the show. And like we mentioned, I know Maddie has a daughter with special needs, and I've always been curious as a grandparent. You have your own journey in all this,
Yes.
Not only being the grandparent to a granddaughter with special needs, but also in supporting your daughter. And I know you're pretty involved, correct?
Yes, we feel extremely fortunate, at least in our in a situation where we can help out quite a bit. And as far as the learning curve, it's in all of these situations, the learning curve can be very steep. One of the things that we forget sometimes is that there's sort of a ripple effect. So obviously we're trying to support Madison as she supports Emma, but your support team around you, they're going through a lot too. And so for Lisa and I, we talk about our knees being worn out, and Lisa's a great prayer. She's a phenomenal prayer warrior. So we talk about that piece, and that's an important piece for us as we try to navigate how to support Maddie in different ways, how to support Emma, how to support the other two little boys in the family, support Maddie's husband, as well as Lisa and I taking care of some things that we need to take care of too, so we can be helpful. Sometimes that support is very simple, doing laundry, watching the kids go, so Madison can take a nap. Understand, Madison's husband, like she mentioned, is a long-haul trucker. So frequently he's gone for 5 to 7 days at a time. And during that time, take care of 3 kids is exhausting, period. And then you throw in trying to get to physical therapy, trying to get to all these different things that Emma's trying to get to, can also be challenging. Part of the challenging for us in Big Bear is that many of our resources are an hour to an hour and a half away. Some of her specialists in Orange County at Chalk, which we've been very fortunate. Loma Linda's been phenomenal. We're so blessed to have these places within a couple hours. But those of you familiar with traffic, up in Big Bear, we don't have much. But we get off the hill and suddenly an hour, half hour, 45-minute drive can turn into a 3-hour trip with a kid in a car seat and all the challenges of eating and everything else going on. It can be pretty challenging. So Lisa and I try to find different ways to help out, to support. And some of them, honestly, yesterday, Madison was just exhausted. We spent several days down in Loma Linda with them in the hospital. And so it's little things, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, watching the kids. So as people think about how to support, sometimes it's not some big heroic thing. Sometimes it's vacuuming and helping clean the house and letting him take a nap. It's the simple, practical things in life that do make a difference.
Yeah. How did you get to the place of freeing up your time and things you could be doing? Like, what propels you to provide that kind of support?
Well,
I know it's your daughter, but
true. And that's where we feel fortunate that we are close enough. For a while, they were about an hour away from us. And for us to get a call and say, hey, I need help right now. Sometimes we could make it, sometimes we couldn't. Sometimes she was on her own. Now that they're about 15, 20 minutes, that's made a big difference. And even trying to look for a place that's going to work well within her budget, closer to us and all that. But I'll tell you that honestly was an absolute answer to prayer to make all those pieces come together. And again, that's this piece that we can't ignore in our story, certainly. The ways we've seen God's fingerprints all over everything with Emma from the very, very beginning. And Maddie shared a lot about their story getting started. But we've seen God's fingerprints on so many things that sometimes we take for granted. But many times we look back and realize, oh, that was significant. We didn't realize at the time, but that's significant. That turned out to be really good. Even some things that look bad, you realize, oh, God was using that. That's amazing. We have to remember that. As far as for Lisa and I, part of parenting and part of our life. You go through certain challenges. So now as grandparents, we can empathize with what Maddie's going through and JD are going through, and we can support them in that. And sometimes just listening to them, oh man, I'm so tired. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I hope one of the things I really hope comes through is, as we're talking today, is the theme of with and through. As we're talking right now, we're talking about helping Maddie and JD. We're trying to be with them and support them as they go through. Sometimes you get stuck in a situation, you think like, this is the end. This is the way my life is going to be forever. No, there's some challenges here for a long, long time. And this most recent trip to the hospital is something we're going to experience just because of some of the, not direct effects, but some of the sort of side effects of Rett syndrome and respiratory issues and living up in a very dry area and winter, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
So we just have this reality that the respiratory issues are going to be here for a while. But with and through are two critical concepts to hang on to when we're going through situations. We're not here forever. With and through. So I hope that comes across.
Yeah. And it's so easy to get caught up in doing, when a lot of the times in these challenging and difficult situations, the support that is needed is just simply just be with them, like you're saying.
Right. And,
yeah.
And don't feel the pressure to have the right word or the right phrase. When you talk to people who've gone through, whether it be a grieving process or anything like this, the people that, and it's well-intentioned, they try to support you with bumper sticker phrases. There's a point thinking, no, don't do that. Sometimes just listen. And honestly, sometimes with Maddie, with all these different situations, we know they feel helpless. We felt that. When you watch your kid sick, when you watch your kid struggle, when you watch your kid make a bad decision and it plays out, you sit there and you think, I just want to step in and fix it. We understand, we can empathize with them when they feel that, because we feel that too sometimes as we watch them. But to try to have the perfect phrase, the wise saying, the one thing that's going to make them just all go away, no. There are ways to encourage them. The timing, the words we use, those are important too. I'll tell you, one of the things that's helped us, we have, people, we send out little prayer requests, and the journey that you're going through, one of the Bible studies I'm in, you guys are on our list, and people ask periodically about that. So, yeah, the updates, I really appreciate those. But the people that support us through prayer, a little quick couple texts here and there, hey, situation, heading down to whatever hospital, having trouble with this, just that fact that people are with you kind of takes a little of that burden off your shoulders at times. And it helps you in the middle of the hurricane. There are times you experience this peace. You can't clearly describe it in words. Right now, there's a sense of peace, like it's a different perspective. We're going to get through this. We're going to make it. But to have that community around you is a real critical piece. And in the world of special education, special needs, parenting, life, that community can be critical, really critical.
Yeah, and that's the main mission we have with UNspecial is through my teaching days, seeing parents going about it alone and just kind of observing the struggle that they would experience. And I've always been a part of a handful of communities and know how beneficial that has been. So just the opportunity to link up parents, it's an honor. And we just started our first parent group. We got five parents linked up, and we're gonna get that going. And I just know it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
and just the fact that they can hear the struggle that they're going through, or maybe they're gonna say something that lands. It's like, oh, I never thought of that. I can try this, and so forth. How about so Emma's 4 now?
Well, she's three and a half, a little over 3.5.
3.5. How was it in the early days? Like all the emotions around. I know she was a home birth.
Oh yeah, that birth was textbook. It was perfect.
Right.
Seriously.
And then to coming like hours later, something was up. I mean, I can't even imagine. My third kid was a home birth, but we didn't have the after fact. What was that like? Were you there?
They were an hour away. And we
Okay.
got called to start driving. So Lisa and I talked in the car. We started driving, and it was actually born about 30 minutes before we got there. So by the time we got there, things had calmed down. The early days were very similar, and I really hope parents hear this. Were very similar to other processes where you're just completely thrown off, whether it be a grieving process or anything else, any type of a loss, because there are a lot of emotions going on. And so at first it's like the shock. And the shock is not necessarily bad, because during that shock time, sometimes you can actually think more clearly than when the emotions just completely smack you upside the head. So during that shock, what can we do? How can we take care of this? Are people eating? Are people getting sleep? Maddie, you're exhausted. You're going to go home and sleep. JD, you're exhausted. You guys are going to go home and sleep. We'll stay here and take care of it. And you can start to think. But then you have these other things start to come up that people have experienced in different ways. And when you run into a situation like this, it's not a whole lot different. There's this disbelief, almost this denial. How can this be this? Why? Why is this happening? Is it something I did wrong? There's a guilt piece, all these things. And some of those emotions can help you get through. And some of those emotions are lying to you, and you got to be careful about that. It's probably not anything you did wrong. You feel like you're alone, you're isolated. There are a lot of people around you who really want to try to go with you through this journey. Sometimes we can't see that at the time. Our emotions are really clouding our decisions. These other struggles that we experience in these difficult times, they are real. Acknowledge they are real and work through them, keep moving forward. And we had to do the same thing. And our situation is, how do we support Maddie and JD as they try to go through the situation? So part of our job was to take care of practical things. Are you eating? Are you sleeping? What have you learned from the doctors? They're still trying to figure out what's going on too, because actually a combination of things happening. And sometimes moms seem to have this. You can kind of go with a gut instinct and just, they feel strongly about something. At the same time, is this gut instinct, is this aligning with what we're seeing? And so you're trying to navigate quite a bit. It's a grandparent, similar to being a parent, but part of that support piece is huge. One thing I would encourage people to do when they're in situations like this is basic communication 101. It's something I taught my classes for years. Listen, think, speak. And it's you want to listen to the ideas and not get stuck on the words. Sometimes the actual words can distract us, but if we listen to the ideas, that's where the hurt, the confusion, the fear, and those things start to really come out. It's, but you said that, no. It sounds like, you're struggling with this idea. How do we help you take care of this? Who can we talk to that might alleviate this fear? And so you're trying to listen to the ideas. And then the next thing is to think about what people are saying instead of trying to think about what you want to say. So this part of this active listening is understanding the ideas that they're trying to communicate to you, and then think about how to best talk to them and answer. And then as you speak, the body language, the choice of words, the tone of voice, all these things make a difference. And so try to maintain composure, think quickly but not rush. These are basic communication 101 skills. And that we need to use in a marriage, in difficult situations, trying to get through challenging times. These basic communication 101 skills are critical in all arenas, not just in it and all that. So it's a critical piece.
Yeah. Listen, speak, respond.
Listen, think, speak. Listen, it's ask.
Yeah. There's not even a response.
Correct. And what we want to do, we want to respond right away, and we're thinking about what to say. Think about what the person's actually saying, listen actively, and then think about what you want to say. If we're thinking about what we want to say while they're talking, we're not listening. We cannot claim to be listening for thinking about what we're going to say. It's interesting listening to the couple, podcasts, watching different things happen. You talk more about life skills than you guys realize. This parent group you're talking about, you guys get to share together in this struggle. That's a powerful thing, really powerful thing. But part of what you guys are going to be talking about is just getting through the challenges of life. Like, listen, think, speak. Things like stepping back, looking for God's perspective on a situation, being able to think clearly, that peace in the hurricane. These are things that are life. They're just life.
Yeah. And just, social emotional skills. Interesting. That's some good thoughts and wisdom right there. How about when hard times, like hearing difficult news? And I'm sure when you hear some difficult news, you have to process it yourself, but then at the same time, show up for your daughter.
Correct.
How do you balance the two?
That part's challenging as you have more of these situations come up. I wouldn't say it gets easier, but in some respects, it doesn't hit you the same way. And so this is where experience in different things can help. One of the things that you brought up and alluded to were the emotions. And these are legitimate emotions, fear, all of these things that we experience. And so our first reaction, if there are two things happening at the same time, this idea of praying without ceasing, believe me, and prayer for clarity of thinking, for God's will, which is harder to pray for because you don't know exactly where it's going to take us. Sometimes recognizing that we can't fix this, and that's a helpless feeling. So you have these emotions, the denial piece. You tend to see a lot of these same emotions during IEPs, and you've seen that too. You're trying to walk with these parents through a situation and try to maintain a calm perspective and help them develop a broader perspective. So when we get the calls about something, hey, and you take him to the hospital, hey, he's an active one. Hey, he's choking. We just, ambulance is over here right now. He's choking on stuff. These things are going on. And you have this gut instinct to react, panic. And then you learn to pull back real fast, take a breath, and literally take a breath. Reacting right away is probably not, you want to move quickly, not rush. Take a breath. Okay, what do we need to do? How can we help out? And then you move forward with that. Trying to pull yourself emotionally out of the situation for a bit and deal with emotions later, it's going to be critical. It's going to be critical. Yeah. We know that we are at our best if we're each trying to grow individually, spiritually, right? And then grow together spiritually. That's when we're at our best. So when these things come flying at us, if we've been trying to grow on our own and trying to grow together, we're a better team getting through situations. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy. It means we just tend to be a better team.
You brought up an important aspect of removing yourself from the emotions and maybe address them later, but definitely address them and not stuff them down.
Yes, because it comes out in times when we need to make decisions. We see it when we have to make medical decisions. We see it in IEPs. You see long-term things that parents have tried to suppress come out during an IEP. Sometimes we see it in trying to buy a car. You just see these crazy things that come out when we're trying to make a decision. There are emotions involved. That's one of the beauties of being human. Emotions are a beautiful thing. It's not good, bad, positive, otherwise. We can't deny those, but we do need to try to deal with those so we can continue to move forward in a very productive path that's going to help our kids, our grandkids, the people we're with, the people in our community, that, we want to try to deal with those effectively so we can still be productive and move forward in the best way possible.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do to build up, say, that muscle to be able to remove yourself from the emotions?
That's a huge piece. And again, there are times that we respond better than other times. Just ask our kids. There are times we're able to respond more accurately and more effectively than others. A lot of that is done before things happen. It's not entirely different. A big storm's coming in, so you make sure the cars are full of gas. You make sure everything you need at the house is ready, so the power goes out for a period of time. And you have a plan in place. Part of that is preparing through your own, like you mentioned, self-care for these types of situations. We're talking about the quiet times of prayer, the praying, not getting distracted by bumper sticker Christianity, which can be a horrible distraction. When I say that, I mean, you think about these popular things that fit on bumper stickers. Be still. Nice idea. But the part we're missing, the part be on the bumper sticker, is know that I am God. We have the cause and effect place like flipped. Know that I am God. That's what causes us to step back with a better perspective that allows us to make the clear decisions, to experience the peace in the hurricane. Hopefully it's the things you've done previously that help you get through what you're currently doing. And that's how we feel we need to support people, and hopefully we get the support we need, people who are able to keep things in perspective can walk with us. Hopefully we can walk with them as different challenges come up.
Yeah, a better you is a better child. And our like kind of tagline idea is all these parents get told so much what to do with their child that we don't ever want to be that place. We just want to help parents be the best version of themselves and ultimately walk with the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
But that's so important. I think it's a lot of parents, for sure. I know just hearing from some of the moms, it's very easy for them to overlook themselves because their heart is just all about the child. And it's so easy to, until you hit the bottom and you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah, absolutely. The resource you're offering is much bigger than parents. The resource you're offering can be an encouragement because it can develop an understanding for people who may be new to this whole venue. Sometimes you don't fully understand what parents are going through. So what are parents going through? What are they struggling with? How do I better understand their journey beyond what we see happening with their child? You're offering a tremendous resource for people. I'm really grateful for this resource that you're offering people. When the twins were born, we weren't sleeping real well. And I tell this story because I know that some people can think of something that will get them close to experiencing that absolute, I can't. Has been able to, and now I can't. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It feels bad. A lot of good things can come out of bad situations. And to feel just, I can't support Lisa anymore. I don't have the gas in the tank when she's not sleeping, and I'm getting these short little naps during the day. I'm coming into Friday at school, and I've slept 20 hours all week since Sunday night. I can't on my own. And that's not a bad place to be. And that's where I really come to Lord in prayer and say, I can't. And you talk to people, they realize they can't. That's okay. My only hope, I guess, from really seeking after, listening carefully to what direction God wants to try to take me.
Yeah, so good. That is the exact place we need to be as we're surrendered and realize we need God.
Yeah.
So good.
How many times you see people make really dumb decisions just because they're trying to be prideful? Why don't you do that? Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel on your own? You have an opportunity. It's like your resource is so good because the people you're talking to is so good. I can either try to reach up as high as I can on my own, or I can stand on somebody else's shoulders and reach up higher faster. But we don't get to that place until we realize I can't reach as high as I want to. Yes, I need to stand on someone else's shoulders. I have to admit that to myself. I need to stand on someone else's shoulders.
In the cancer journey with my wife.
Yes.
When there's just so many people offering help, and I didn't know how to receive it. And then a buddy called me out and was like, dude, you're robbing so many people of being blessed by letting them help you. And then once I kind of realized that and seeing the joy from all the help that's coming in, it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's simple, like our dog hasn't been out for a walk. Some of it's really simple. And yet for some reason we think we got to ask someone for something big. Well, no, sometimes it's as easy as, hey, we've run out of stuff. I can't leave the house right now. Can you grab this for me? Or, sometime before this evening, and you find out which people can do which things. Your prayer warriors, those people, you say, hey, keep praying. And these are the things we're struggling with right now. We're trying to get a doctor who really understands our situation. We're trying to, we have an issue with insurance right now, trying to take care of this. We just had about a 3-hour block, trying to get everything to line up, just wasn't working, trying to get me down to the hospital to help down there, trying to all these different things. And so we called some friends and said, can you just watch the 2 little ones? We need about 3 hours here so we can take care of some stuff, so we can support Madison and still take care of some things that we need to do. And they came up for 3 hours and they played with the 2 little ones, and they had a blast. The kids had a blast, but why do I think I have to do this all on my own? Is that pride or is it stupid arrogance? What is that that's stopping me from asking?
Yeah, that's something to think about for sure. I think pride gets in the way a lot. It's unfamiliar territory, so it takes a little getting used to it.
Going back to IEP, and for parents, we're unfamiliar unfamiliar territory. Yep. I've seen some situations where some people come in saying they're going to help and they're going to do this and they're going to get this and they're going to, boy, if you have someone helping out and they're really, it's always us against them and we're going to, I'd back off from that person a little bit. Sometimes that attitude, when that person goes charging in, the people who you're asking to help, they actually back off and they're like, whoa, I want to help you, but I'm absolutely going to be overly cautious because I think if I do anything wrong, you're going to attack me. So I'm going to back way off. When you come in, you're trying to learn and work and create a team and be very persistent. How can we speed this process up? Is there something we can do here? We're seeing this thing happen. I don't think it's being addressed. How can we get this thing done? It's interesting how people who are used to being attacked will let down their guard and they'll offer ideas and things. They're a little out of the ordinary sometimes. And that's when, it's kind of unique to watch. I saw Maddie do this, trying to get two insurance groups trying to work together, try to transfer some stuff from one hospital to another, dealing with insurance, all these different things. But she kept pushing. Keep pushing? Absolutely. Absolutely. And her perseverance and her patience paid off.
And that goes a long way in the IEP meetings with families and districts, administration, showing up with the spirit of let's work together versus I'm going to get what I want on both sides. You were principal for 5 years?
Yeah, plus for 4 years in there, but yeah, I'll tell you, you've probably seen it too. Sometimes a well-run, good group of people working together truly for the best interests of the child, not trying to push their personal agenda, but for the best interest of the child, it's a powerful team. It's a beautiful thing to watch. You have people sharing ideas instead of saying, why don't you do this? From a parent standpoint, can you talk about this particular program? Can you explain more why you think that's more effective? Are there other options, and why did you choose this particular one? Instead, well, I want this and I want that. I've seen some situations people got advice from some people who didn't fully understand the situation, or they just wanted to show their power, or they just wanted to do something, and the team kind of backs off. And after a while, we had a great situation up here while I was principal. Someone came from different district, very confrontational. And so all of our first meetings, they'd have the lawyer did not want to drive to Big Bear. The lawyer, perfect. Going on, that all these things going on. And as they got used to working with us, and we were used to having conversations, as they get used to working with us, pretty soon the lawyer said, hey, you're fine. I don't need to listen to your meetings. Pretty soon they quit bringing, they had these open conversations. They would start at the IEP. A lot of times the good stuff was happening before and after that relationship that was built, and that's where the trust was built. I joke about in Big Bear, we have parent conferences in aisle 8 of Stater Brothers, as a teacher, administrator, whatever. That's just the reality. Those are the best, many times those are the best conferences because you're sharing what's happening. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And then pretty soon it turns into whatever. But then when you go to meet, there's a different level of or a different type of relationship built. Doesn't always happen, but I'll tell you, in a small town, the odds of that happening are really high.
Right.
You have this team that's developed for the purpose of helping the child. The communication is different. You're able to ask questions and not feel attacked. You have to recognize sometimes people are coming at you. It's not because they want to come at you. They're trying to navigate something really difficult, challenging.
Yeah.
Beautiful things have happened. It's just kind of amazing.
And it kind of goes back to that addressing your emotions at some point in the process. I felt a lot of the times in the IEP meetings, I would get the brunt of some of the emotions that weren't dealt with prior to the meeting because I was the teacher and ultimately expected to not fix, but exponentially skyrocket the abilities, which is totally understandable from a parent's perspective. Like, you want your child to succeed. And so a lot of times they're, looking to put the blame on somebody. But when I realized that a lot of other stuff is going on behind the scenes and I'm just the one that's hearing it, it was a lot easier for me to remove myself and just stay
Yes.
calm.
Boy, you went through perfect training to be an administrator. It's just what administrators go through all the time. The difference is they're getting attacked from the parents, from the district office, from the teachers, from the new duty aides, it's just, you feel like you're covered in targets. That was perfect training for you to become an administrator. I would not suggest this, but it was perfect training.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And this is what people on the educational side of the table need to understand. The parents are not necessarily attacking them. The parents are going after what they believe is best for their child based on the information they have. And so part of our job, it may not seem fair or anything, part of our job is to absorb some of that energy that's coming at us, to listen to the ideas, to think how to respond, and then respond carefully. One of the things I learned as an administrator, parents will come up wound up about something. When you take time to listen to what's going on, frequently there's another issue at play. And multiple times, people are sharing that something's falling apart in their life. Their finances are bad. One parent was in there saying, you need to do something about this now. Okay, we'll work on this area. How are you doing? And just broke down. Well, I'm out. Today I got to go back out and collect basically sticks and stuff. We can't cut timber right now. So I'm trying to grab everything I can so we can make it through the winter because financially we're really struggling. Great. Hey, resources can help you out here. Here's some situations. Here's how we can take care of this. One of my more memorable situations that helped me understand there's frequently something else going on. A guy come in, probably 280, 300 pounds, big guy, trying really hard to help his kids. And all of a sudden we got to a point of, his kids had one of them had some real issues he had to deal with. He just broke down in tears, sobbing. Turns out within the previous 2 weeks, and he hadn't shared with anyone. And he just broke down because I was simply listening. Wife had left, cleared out the bank account. The boyfriend, they took the car. So he's now with 2 kids trying to get him to school. So he built this little trailer he could attach to his bike so he could give his kids a ride to school every day. And he is just gushing and realized there's something here more important than why he came in here. And there's some issues that we do need to help him. So on the educational side of the table, be ready with resources. Hey, financial thing, we can send these people. They can help you get, for us, it was getting a card to Stater Brothers Bonds so they could get groceries right away. It might be a gas card so they can get gas in the tank to take care of this. It might be a voucher to go to a thrift store so they can get clothes because, the seasons are changing and we need to get some clothes for our kids. I can't solve all those problems. And I think it sounds like that's what you felt. You were suddenly responsible for solving all the world's problems. I can't. Yeah. But I might be able to help find some resources to take care of this issue. What's happening in these meetings, and not just IEPs, frequently in meetings, there are a lot of things coming in we don't see. Therefore, the personality that comes out in the person may not be typical for them, but that's what we're experiencing. And so listen to the ideas and think how to respond. Maybe what you end up talking about in the meeting or in the hallway afterward is going to really address some big issues. You're going to have some parents really willing to work with you when you show you truly care about them as people.
Yeah, I think once that trust is built and they really understand that, you're willing to go the extra mile, that's where it all changes. And I would imagine listen, think, speak. When you get to that thinking part, a lot of the times you're not going to be speaking. That's probably where you stop yourself.
What? It makes for an interesting conversation. Most conversations, especially arguments, it's people talking over each other. Well, you said this. You said this. What do you mean? But you said, well, that's not the word I wanted. That was what I really meant was, why you say that? We're not even talking about the issue. We're talking about arguing about arguing. Come on, what's going on here? So there are pauses. Let me think how to really clearly say what I'm thinking. It drives Lisa crazy when I do stuff like that because, man, she is type A and she's a quick thinker. I'll tell you, she is like scary sharp thinker. And she's, I'm not as quick with words. And so for me to say, hang on just a second. what I'm trying to say is it drives her crazy. But at the same time, if I take time to think about her ideas and then think how to say it so that I'm communicating my ideas clearly, it can really diffuse things and it can help us focus on the real issue. And yeah, is it emotionally charged? Yeah, it is. Of course it is.
It's interesting with my 8-year-old. 8-year-olds, you know, they think they know all the answers.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he'll tell me that. And it was, I don't know, probably a month ago, we got into it. And afterwards I was like, you know, we need to figure out how we can do this different, because I for sure was not regulated and we need to figure it out. So we came to the conclusion that if we get into like an argument or, you know, banter back and forth, the other person wouldn't talk until the person talking said done. And it changed everything.
There are variations. That exact same thing. What you did was beautiful. One is like a talking stick.
Yeah.
Now, in a classroom, it would be, I had this rubber chicken. Whoever had the rubber chicken, only one allowed to speak. And when you're trying to take care of an issue in the classroom where you're really it's uncomfortable, then whoever has rubber chickens can speak. People are, you have something to say, or still listen. But you're exactly right. What you did was, okay, I remember, I'm just going to hold on. But a lot of times it's called another variation of that's BBQ, better be quiet. You just better be quiet.
Okay.
And then when it's my turn to speak, I'll have some ideas. But yeah, you're exactly right. One of the beauties about 8-year-olds is things tend to be very absolute.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about 8-year-olds is you get some funny things that happen because of their understanding of a situation doesn't quite fully take into account everything in that situation. But man, they are ready to go to battle on what they do understand. You're trying to say, no, more to it than this. And so it's entertaining, really entertaining.
And they're so convinced.
Absolutely.
They are stern in what they are saying.
That's no different than many things we see. Based on the information they have and understand in their 8 years of gaining wisdom. And when you step back and think, how'd they come up with that idea? Now I can follow that idea. And now I see. Boy, that's what I loved about teaching, something different I loved about teaching part of 5th grade. You're still kind of 8 turning 9, but you can get towards that part of 4th grade into 5th. You have some students, many who want to try to understand this broader idea. They want to take on more personal responsibility, but not really sure how to do that. And so there's a lot of training that goes on during that time period. And you're going to come up to that soon in the near future with your own kids. And it's an exciting time, but also very straining on your patients, because as they try to do something on their own, it could take a long time. They could do it wrong. You're thinking there's 12 ways to do it better than that. But you have to be really patient as you guide them through how to be effective in everything from organizing their time to these little things like how I plan ahead for what to wear tomorrow based on the weather. It's really it's a wonderful time. That's why teaching.
Yeah, great. How, over the 35 years, how have you seen special education change? Where was it?
Well, the types of resources we have available for parents and students, some are good and some are popular. Some
I like how you said that. Popular.
You know how we follow the fads? There are certain fads that have been bad, and there's trends that have been good. The trends based on fads have been bad. The trends based on what we see with long-term effects, those trends I like. But some of those things have changed. The understanding of, I'll just say the understanding of the brain has changed significantly. The understanding of, if you pick a specific area, for example, autism, boy, our understanding is so much better than it was. The other thing I would teach my students, this is slightly off track, but we're looking long-term, more in special ed than we used to. One of the things I teach my students to teach them to think long-term, mistakes. Are they a crisis or are they data for learning? And this is where I see people make some mistakes in the world of special ed sometimes, dealing with people who have needs that they don't know how to address. We have a crisis on our hands, we've got to try to fix this thing. Or what can we do to try to learn to be more successful in the future? How can we really try to help the student? What are we going to do long term? I see some of that thinking improving, whereas it used to be, oh my goodness, we have to build this, we have to do that. What can we do long term to help this person? Not doing everything for them, is probably going to help them long term, teaching them how to do certain things that we didn't know they could do. That's thinking long term. And that change I've liked over time too. It's sad, but true that some people who do have, like in hard of hearing, they have to deal with us all the time. Speaking louder and slower is not helping. They have to be really patient with us. And I feel sorry for them. They have to deal with that. That part is not necessarily changed.
Right.
There are people that, think of ourselves as normal. It's this ableist mentality. That part is not changed. I hurt for the people. Hopefully that will improve over time. Yeah. I was fortunate. I had a situation where I got to meet several people at the end of high school through early part of college, different types of things going on. And they were patient with me. They helped teach me how to think differently and how to approach situations differently, whether it be a friend two friends. They were amputees, legs, a kid on our ski team, hearing issues, big scars from surgeries they try to do. Now I think they do a cochlear implant, but that family, that mom especially helped me out. A friend I met later on working in a ski shop. He's renting skis. The hearing thing, that was fascinating. He gave me some insight into that whole world of, just a whole world of hearing issues. That was really cool. And so those things kind of helped me prepare me for what I'd run into in schools and that whole realm of special ed. I'm so grateful for those people. A student in college, went blind, he wanted to be a DJ at a radio station. I'm thinking, how's he going to find records? He'll figure that part out. So that first reaction I had was just stupid.
Yeah.
I went for a run one time. A friend without part of her leg, she kicked my butt. First I thought, oh, well, I'll do a short run and stuff. I get going. Like, man, she's been training a lot more than I have. She's kicking my butt.
How, over the years, how have you experienced parents of students that you've had that had special needs, or just in general, how did you experience parents in IEP meetings? And what do you think we've probably covered it, but the big disconnect was? Well,
I'll tell you that one, there are so, I was trying to think through on IEPs. I know between different situations, I've sat through well over 100 IEPs. So you see a lot of things go on. And sometimes with a student, you end up every year, several IEPs. So you get to see the family for several years in a row. That's more an administrative type thing, or, as a teacher or something. The IEPs, two thoughts on there from two different sides of the table. The really effective teams, and we touched on that, are the teams that talk about ideas. They ask questions. They try to open up conversations. Those can be pretty powerful, and those really benefit the student. When people come in with an agenda, they're trying to limit, they're trying to attack, they're coming in with, unfortunately, it sounds good, but it's inaccurate information. They want something that does not service the student, their child, makes them feel powerful. Those are rough to watch. Those are really rough ones to watch. The ones where sometimes you hope for the best, but there are some IEPs we knew were going to be rough. One of the first things I would do, especially if it was the first time for an IEP, I'd make sure we have Kleenex close by. Let's deal with reality. And I could tell when the parents were really trying to hold back. I grabbed the Kleenex and set it on the table, and just a message to them that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to struggle. And so let's struggle together in this time. It can be rough. It's okay to share these emotions. And so I wanted to help them sense that freedom to it's all right. We're going to try to work with you. And so, it's painful. The fear, the disbelief, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? They're carrying this guilt, this shame. Why are you carrying this guilt and shame? Let's help you work through that part too.
I always used to just try and start them with a funny story. That the classroom is full of funny stories. Like every day is something so funny. And so I always just try to lighten up the mood a little bit with the story. Get the parents to laugh a little.
Oh, yeah. I encouraged Taylor to write down these stories. She had so many stories about her, students in her classroom. It's just, but part of education is like that. You talk to teachers, especially new teachers, never seen anything crazy like this. You have a kid sitting in their chair, just falls out. Whoa, what's going on there? Comments they make, all this stuff. Oh, you just, sometimes you're just dying, laughing. You're trying not to laugh, but boy, you're biting your lip hard. You think it's going to start bleeding. But you're just watching these crazy, funny things happen in classes all the time.
How about some, what was like the most impactful story you have, or even funny story?
I don't know if there's any one that sticks out. I do know there are certain times, part of my learning process was to step back and try to understand the ideas as much as the actions. And that can help you modify as an educator in a classroom or anything, help you modify the way you deal with situations. For example, I had a student in like talking is a big thing in the classroom. Don't talk. That's not the point. That's not the point. Step back a little bit, try to figure out what it is we're trying to do here. And so I came up with the thing, talking is beautiful, but timing is everything. And one of my students for the last few years, I've had multiple students using the same thing. They are hilarious, but their timing is horrid. Their timing is terrible.
Yeah.
Trying to get a whole group of students on the same bus, in the same hymnal, on the same page is rough. And you have a guy who makes a funny comment and everyone's falling off the bus. And you're trying to, hey, let's just try to get the bus. And so you're trying to explain to the student, talking is beautiful, but timing's everything. I mean, that's the issue we want to deal with, the timing of the talking. Signal. If you have a funny thing, don't raise your hand, but, and I'd know, is this a serious question? Is it a funny question? I said, hang on to it. It's a funny, hang on to it. Just a little bit. Write it down. Just hang on to it. You start to try to work on the timing. But there are times, like, he'd be sitting there going, the only time you see a face like that, and they're just dying, is when a kid has to go to the bathroom really bad. So you're getting hold of it. It's what IEP back here. I'm watching. This is just so beautiful. He's trying so hard to do the right thing. I don't know of any students who wake thinking, I want to just wreak havoc. Maybe when they get older, they do. But the guys I dealt with, they weren't waking up. He wasn't trying to cause problems. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying so hard to do the right thing, but not blurting out. I just be rolling and rolling. Really enjoying it.
Oh, man.
Students do funny things. They just that human side of teaching is so beautiful. The human side of parenting is so beautiful. Human interaction we can have with really positive productive meetings, conversations, these communities we create for ourselves to help each other. All these different things, perspectives. That's just so beautiful. And then again, something really beautiful when we work together to go with each other through these different journeys, raising our children, working with our spouse. These are ongoing things. Sometimes you get focused in a point in time, and then you forget that. And it's beautiful to watch the dynamics of life unfold. And certainly in a classroom, it's a very beautiful place to watch it happen. you watch your ways. That's really pretty.
The motto that Drew and I stole from Jocko Willink. He's a popular podcaster, former Navy SEAL guy. Just the word good. So if Drew texts me, or I'll call him with, something that went wrong at a job, or a client is, frustrated or whatever, we'll just say to each other, good. Because then we step back when we finish the job and, we think about it, reflect on it. Sometimes it goes back to, they probably have a lot going on in life, and we're getting the brunt of it. And then other times it is like, with humility, we dropped the ball on that one. We'll fix it. But just the simple good.
But they're these simple things that help us keep perspective in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I get concerned when I see people, this is the most critical thing ever. Probably not. Oh, I've never seen anything so bad in my life. Well, you're probably not that old. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, some closing thoughts. Definitely here at UNspecial for all the parents and educators, anyone listening. Our main heart is to let you know that you are qualified. You may not feel like it. You may think that your journey and your hardship will never end, but there is a support system. There are people out there, and our goal is for you to join us in the community, just so we can be that resource and space for you to be human and learn from each other. Scott, what would be some final words you would? I know you've shared
Yeah.
a lot of amazing words. But if you had to like tell a parent something that's going through a journey, or a grandparent, what would you tell them?
I really, and I know here we're certainly okay sharing some things about our faith. I really encourage you to look at some of the ideas that Zack is obviously trying to present and see how our faith, a really sincere faith, not a bumper sticker faith, not a conventional, popular Christianity type faith, but really how the depths of our faith affect us on a daily basis, and highs and lows as we work with people, as we learn how to be supported, as we learn how to support. These are the things. My hair is getting grayer, so there's a reason for what I'm saying. But sometimes that helps us keep a perspective that's different than what the world wants us to see all the time. It helps us keep a broader perspective that allows us to really be more intentional, more purposeful, and more effective in really what we're trying to do. Yeah, Zack, I do appreciate, again, I appreciate you creating this resource for people. There's something powerful about people working together. Very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And this has been around for a long time. So this idea is going to be, long past we're here. But if we work with each other, we train the next generation how to do that, then we've really made a long-term impact. So thank you for the time you're taking to do this.
Oh, thank you so much for being on. I'm sure we'll be in touch. I have a book coming out. You'll probably get a kick out of it. It's 10 stories from my teaching days related to the Bible and how I saw God in those stories and students. It'll be done editing end of February, I'm told. So sometime after that. But as with every guest on the show, I'll send you a copy.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you got it. All right, we'll see ya.
Right.
Thank you for watching another episode of the UNspecial podcast. We understand that navigating the world of special needs can feel incredibly isolated. At UNspecial, we are dedicated to breaking down those barriers. If you want to hear another inspiring story, check out the video right here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to support our mission.